What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 4 of Star Citizenship. On one of my sides, I don't know which one because I never know, is Mr. Orchid, that side.
What's up,
And
everybody?
on this side, opposite of Orchid, is me, Beer Chegg. And we're here with a new episode of Star Citizenship, and we are two plebs who are trying to tell you what to do or what we have done in Star Season in past 2 years, weeks.
Not as easy as it looks, huh, Check?
It is. Yeah, I'm
You'll
just making it
notice we're
like
switching it up
no.
because,
Now,
yeah,
yeah, now you're gonna feel better when you screw up. So
yeah, exactly.
it was all planned. It was
Now,
all
now
planned.
you have the experience of doing the intro and seeing how hard it is. Now we can go on to the show.
Yeah,
All right.
and you now will have the experience of actually talking about something that matters
And something I
at the
have
beginning of the
no idea what's going on. Let's start with the news.
show.
All right, everyone. So to start us off, there's a lot of information that's come out in the last couple weeks. It feels like the floodgates kind of opened up. I think it feels more like that because we had a very down period
Yeah,
when they went
drought.
into
It
the
was.
when they went into their break and coming out of it. It felt like not much was happening, not much was moving, and now it feels like things are ramping back up again. So there's quite a bit going on. First off, 3.8.2 is in the PTU, and everybody can log on and enjoy that experience, which is now named World of Carrix. Yeah.
Woohoo.
I'm not as thrilled about the Carrick. I know Chegg's not thrilled about the Carrick, but it is what it is. I know a lot of people are happy about the Carrick, so congratulations to those. So, mentioning that as well, the Carrick is coming very soon. We've already seen people enjoying that ship in the public test universe. The devs did a short sighting um, just a few days ago, it seems like, and they just kind of went to certain areas where people were, showed the exterior of the ship, didn't really let people look at it too much, and then would take off, and that was it.
Some people managed to sneak in, by the way. I
Did
don't know
they
if you saw that.
really? Oh, I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
get to see that.
yeah,
Oh
the first
man,
day.
that's cool.
So there were
Uh,
some moments where they were like they had to self destruct the ship
oh
because
gosh,
someone,
that's funny.
it takes long to self destruct. It's a big ship, so yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's pretty exciting because then that shows us we're getting new content, we're getting new ships. That's going to be exciting. Um, so the one downfall to this is anyone that got the Carrack that is upgraded did not get their Carrack in the PTU because of a bug. They have thought of a solution to try and work around this, which is to allow concierge to be able to play with Carrick and spawn it on the PTU. Sorry, everybody that has donated $995 and is not
Yeah.
concierge, but has the Carrick and can spawn it still. So I guess it kind of helps a little bit, but you don't know how many people would then be impacted that don't have concierge, but they do have the Carrick. The likelihood of that happening is probably pretty slim, though.
Yeah. But yeah, because the ship is like 500. But
Yeah.
it's really good at this. I mean, it's insane because there's so much hype around Karak, which hype is good. People spend more money. Some people come back to the game. New people will be excited about it. The ship looks good. But the good thing for me in this whole situation is that this happened on PTU. So when they transfer Karak to PU, hopefully people who upgraded their Pisces will actually be able to play day one and have
Yeah.
no issues.
Yeah. So that's exciting. It is exciting. I'm definitely going to be checking out the ship. I know there's quite a few people within our community, within IPE, that have the Carrick. So I'm looking forward to going out on one of those and checking it out and seeing what it's all about. I think the most exciting thing for me right now that is on the horizon is the persistence that keeps edging its way in. Chegg showed me a video last week of these guys that took 4 caterpillars. They went and filled them up completely with cargo and landed on a planet and blew up all 4 caterpillars. And when they
Nice
went
explosion,
back, yeah,
like
it was
domino
really
effect.
cool
It was
look.
one was
Yeah.
self-destructing and like crazy.
Yeah. And one of the
A
coolest
lot
things
of
was they
boxes
went
flying
back.
around.
Yeah. They went back to that area to see what was going on. I mean, they were right there watching the explosions, but when they went to where the ships were, they saw a bunch of boxes on the ground. So,
Which is surprising to me because
yeah,
of how SSOCS, or commonly known as
socks.
SOCS,
My
yeah,
Argyle
uh,
socks.
is working. Where if there's no one around the area and you have like some objects that are usable, let's say ships or cargo or stuff like that, if there's no one around for a certain amount of time, those things disappear because no one can see it. Something like quantum physics. Like, so if you don't see it, it does not exist, right? And well, this was crazy because when the caterpillars exploded, there was thousands of SS CU boxes on the ground, and then they left, and they came back,
Oh,
way
that's
later, and the boxes were still there. And then Aliciana today talked in my stream, and she said that some people ended up on that server later in like different session, and they found like thousands of boxes on
wow.
Daimar. That's just mind blowing.
That's very exciting because that's the stuff that I think a lot more people are excited about is that persistence coming in. We're already seeing that they're testing the persistence with keeping your alpha UEC and your ships that you've purchased. So
Every
that
weapons, armor.
yeah, that's big news and that's very exciting to see that stuff coming in right now. So um, along with some of the changes that are going on, we had some big roadmap changes. The biggest one of all is 4.1 now being introduced. I didn't really
Finally.
look over 4.1 too much, and I'm not really hyped about it because they don't have a lot in there yet, and it's so far out that it can change drastically. I think it's
We
at
know it will
least
change.
yeah, it's at least exciting to see we have that new column in there. We're making progress. We're getting to those points. Um, a couple of things of note was that the targeting methodology in the high-speed combat got moved from 3.9 to 4.0. They mentioned that it's awaiting some type of UI changes, which it sounds like
Ship
that should
UI.
be going in 3.9, somewhere around there, maybe in the beginning of 4.0. We'll see. Um,
That's actually also exciting because, I mean, the ship UI,
yeah.
I like it, but it needs work. Like
Oh
it
yeah,
obviously needs,
yeah.
and we know it's a placeholder. So, and this is kind of promising because if you look at the roadmap, those things were moved to 4.0, right? And um, they are one. So each one of these two is only missing like one or two things to be complete. So that kind of tells me, and they said, right, they said that they need the UI to be finished, right, to
Right.
upgrade it. So maybe it's gonna happen because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it would really
I
make
mean,
sense. It
and
would be that would be great. So
yeah,
refreshing.
and exactly like you said, there's only like one item that's left, and that is the UI changes. So that forces them to get that done quicker, so that way they can get those other items in and start working on those different UI aspects. So that'll be nice when they
Yeah, I
start
think that's
working on
gonna
it.
have a chain effect because
Exactly.
UI is like, yeah, it's important for so many things.
One of the other big changes, or one of the big things that's being announced right now, is the Klesher prison in
Clasher,
3.9.
I think.
Klesher, okay. Which that's actually kind of fun. I'm excited to go to prison and check that place out because I like the missions that they're talking about. They also spoke about it in one of the streams that you could have your friends fly to the prison and try to break you out. possibly.
Hmm.
So that's
Hmm.
going to be pretty cool. And then, of course, you can serve your time by actually helping out and do mining and stuff like that in the prison. So,
Or
you know,
fighting,
it's
boxing.
boxing ring. That's pretty
Mm.
exciting. We like to do our in-ship boxing matches. So now
And
maybe,
there's an actual ring, like they showed it, and it
yeah,
looks good.
maybe we can
But
all
what do you
just go
think?
to
Like,
prison and
I
box.
really hope. First of all, I don't want to go to prison, so that's
You
which
got
is
to try
good.
it out.
I,
I mean,
I can. Well, eventually I will end up there. I
yeah.
mean, with the state of the game, where I'm gonna park. Someone said today, like, imagine because the prison is all new. Imagine like, parking, and then UE asks you, you want to pay this ticket or you want to go to prison? You're like, I'm going to prison. But the I hope that it's going to be really tedious and something that people don't want to go through. Obviously, as a new experience, sure,
Yeah.
but once, twice, and then I want you to feel like shit for what you did, and now you have to serve. Because one very important thing is you can't log off. So because you don't have to do anything when you're in prison, and the time will go. And as the time is passing, you are serving your sentence. You can speed it up by doing some other things, or you can escape.
Hmm.
Now, you can't just log off because the moment you log off, the timer stops, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Um, and the idea is like you're either going to serve, or if you escape, like you can escape on your own, but what then? You can't get the ship, you can't get like
Right.
so that escaping, you need someone to come pick you up with a ship, otherwise it doesn't work. So
Hmm.
that's interesting. I can come pick you up. Huh, that's okay.
Always have a buddy in Star Citizen.
Yes. All right.
All right. Awkward pause. And going into Crusader is probably another big announcement and big expectation, big excitement around that, especially for me and I think for Chegg too, because there's a couple things that come with it. Not only being able to explore Crusader as a planet,
Our
um,
plan, yeah.
yeah, being able to land there, being able to do more stuff there. But that also brings with it Crusader Industries ships, which we got a good taste of that. We saw the video on the Mercury Star Runner, which was pretty exciting. It's one of the ships that it reminds me a lot of. Um, what's the
I,
other ship that has the? It's the gun that's mounted or the ship that's mounted on a gun. I forget what it is.
no, oh, the Ares.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Ares and
It
well,
kind of
these are the
reminds me of
same.
that. Yeah.
That's Crusader as
Oh,
well.
okay. So that makes sense then.
But the ship itself is more of a bigger version of, let's say, Cutlass Black or Constellation Andromeda, where you can do anything. One, first of all, just kudos to the team for making Inside Star Citizen. About it was 2 hours of really beautiful presentation,
Yeah.
in depth about the ship that is coming out. Obviously, already super polished, and you can see the enthusiasm and everything. It brings something very new. So that ship is also a data runner. So, which is now we have only one ship that does that, and there's no gameplay for it. But
Yeah.
also, and I don't know if you noticed this, if you even know about this, but the ship has ventilation system through it with hidden like stashes, and you are able to go into the ventilation system and walk around the vent, and no one can see you in like the ship area.
Oh, really?
So if someone hijacks your ship, you can hide in the ventilation system, and it has like four different areas, and in each like of those corners you have like a secret stash. Also, when UE is, if let's say you have some drugs or something there, and when UE is scanning your ship, these things are unscannable.
Ah.
So it's also how do you call that, smuggling ship as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. I didn't get to see the whole
it
video, so
it's very exciting. That ship is,
yeah.
I like it.
I'll be checking that one out for sure. Um,
Really
with
cool.
Crusader Industries, of course, we got to see a very early white box of the Hercules C2. No hints as to when that's coming out. It could be 4.1. It could be as late as 4.2. We don't know. But it at least is exciting to see something in development that is new, and getting to see it the first time for, I think, both me and Chegg, seeing a white box version of a ship.
Yes.
I mean, that
Yeah.
was pretty cool to see how they have to really work around um, the shapes of it and figuring out what it's going to kind of look like before they can go into the details of what is the interior going to look like, what are the components going to look like. So it was pretty cool. I liked it, and I enjoyed watching that stream when they were doing that, or that video. So
So much better than Bubbleheads, man.
yeah, so much better than bobbleheads.
Such an eventful week, and you can see that the hype and morale of players and content creators is like
Yeah,
through the roof because
it's
things are
reigniting that
happening,
flame.
man. It's so nice.
Yeah. And to top it all off, the last announcement that we heard about was CitizenCon, which will be hosted in LA. Apparently, the convention center they're going to be using is very large,
It's
and
massive.
yeah, it's probably the biggest they've had. So that's getting people speculating what's going to be announced if they're, holding that big of a citizen con. And a lot of people are leaning towards Squadron 42 being announced officially in October at the Citizen Con. So, I mean, it could
I'm
be other
I'm
things too, but
I'm assuming that there's gonna be like a big concert or something like that. Dude, it's LA. I'm expecting
yeah,
some VIPs. Like, you know,
yeah,
I would be surprised to see like Elon Musk or
yeah,
he's or people
yeah,
or the Expense crew or something like that or maybe even Keanu Reeves because by that time we'll have Cyberpunk or like I wouldn't. It's LA. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
yeah, yeah. There's no telling, but that being in October and being in an LA and I'm in Arizona, I've already discussed with my wife,
Well,
and
I've heard you're not going.
I might be going.
Ah,
She
this is news for me as well.
so she has her sister coming in town, and they apparently wanted to go to a concert, and I was like, well, I already told you I wanted to go to the Citizen Con thing, and she's like, okay, what's stopping you then? I'm like, oh,
All
I
right.
thought I would have to go to the concert with you. But she said, no, my sister will be in town, so if you want to go out and you want to do that, that's fine. So we'll see.
Are you bringing all 24 kids with you, or
No, they'll stay here.
how's that? No.
No, no. It's
Oh
me
man,
time. I get to spend
that would
time
be
alone.
great because I'm from Serbia and I already had this situation before as a Twitch streamer, and I was part of the Elder Scrolls Online stream team and all that. And I was invited to TwitchCon 2 years ago, no, a year ago,
Hmm.
and I had like invitation from Bethesda, and as a Twitch partner, you get like special invitation and whatnot. But I couldn't get visa because I'm from Serbia,
Yeah.
so I'm not married and I don't have kids, so I don't have anything to come back to. Like so for me, this is exciting because I know I cannot go, but I can see through your eyes, and oh man, like I would love if you would go there. It would be
Yeah.
amazing.
I'll make sure to pull you up on the Discord and we can video while I'm going through the whole
Yeah,
convention and
we did
everything.
a Star Citizenship podcast
Maybe.
live.
Maybe. I might do that.
Yeah, that would be great.
We'll see.
Imagine that would be so good.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. So
Yeah.
that wraps up our Star Citizen news. Next up,
Okay.
what do you got for us, Chick?
Yeah. So as every time, we're just gonna quickly go through not many things this time, but the second part of the podcast is always uh, a little bugs and exploits and stuff that we have encountered in the game. We are still in the same. We are still in the same patch. So everything we talked last time, like I have a lot of 30Ks,
Yeah.
which is surprising because in 3.0.1, 3.8.1, I didn't. but it's okay. I mean, it's still playable. I get like few per day now, and it's okay. But there are some things that was so. First of all, before I dive into these, there's only two things I'm going to talk about. But 3.8.1 is at its end, and we're expecting the Vibe any moment now and start to 3.8.2. And at that time, I personally lose that enthusiasm to play because I know whatever I'm doing right now, it's going to be right any moment.
Mm-hmm.
So, and not only me, but also other people from the community are already making plans for the next server, for the next reset, for the next patch. So I'm the same. So at first I thought I'm going to be doing mining because at the start, but because I never did that before, but then I tried, just did not work out for me. We'll talk about that later. But then I thought, okay, I'm going to get Cutlass Red and I'm going to do FPS missions on my own. And because you can like respawn in your ship, you can have the gray cat in it. It all looked fine and nice. It's like 7,000 top AUC per mission, all good.
Yeah.
Boy, was I wrong. Out of 20-ish attempts in 3 days, I have managed to complete one mission.
Yeah.
And these are around Hurston. They are just bugged. Like the marker does not trigger. There's like tiny problems like you being shot through the wall and stuff like that, but that's okay. Wake up in your ship. However, that's the problem as well, because if you are making 7,000 per mission and the gun is 4,000,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, does it? You're not gonna make money. You're better off doing something else. Unfortunately, there apparently the missions in Crusader, but there's only one in Korea Station, are working properly and they're not bugging as much. But they're only like 4,000 or 4,500, something like that. So they're not worth doing. So for me, the big issue was this FPS missions completely broken, and I've seen other people complaining about this.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's just not working out right now.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because me and you had big
Oh,
plans with the
yes.
Cuddy, and I was so excited to get that thing. I've already melted it. I'm like, I don't even want to keep it because it for me, the Cuddy's whole um, initial attraction for me was being able to do those FPS missions and being able to respawn without having to, get back, recall your ship,
It's
go
Yeah,
back.
it's so much
Yeah,
less stress, man, and,
yeah.
and it's so much less time consumption. So
So yeah,
if the FPS missions were working, it would be great, but they're just, at least for us, we had one day where everything was good and we had a lot of fun, but
yeah, yeah.
that's about it. The other problem that I had also in Katia Red, but I don't think this has anything to do with the ship, but I was flying through Quantum from PO to Hurston, and when I left the Quantum jump in front of Hurston, my ship just exploded. So I was streaming this, and my first thought was maybe someone torpedoed my butt or something, but no, because then I looked through it again, and the moment I get out of Quantum, my ship explodes.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know what. It's not like I did not like get out of Quantum and then fly a little bit so that I can hit something. Maybe there was another ship at the exact same spot, and then because that can happen as well. It happened to me in Caterpillar as well. So yeah, but I mean, I, to be honest, we did not experience many bugs, but we did not play the game as much as well
Right.
because we were waiting for the reset that we don't know when it's gonna happen. So we played some other things.
Which we'll talk about a little bit later in the
Yeah,
what did
but
we
yeah,
do.
nothing.
So
So it's the same as last
yeah,
time. No,
bugs
no,
and
no
exploits
major.
is same as usual. We're waiting on 3.8 to see if it addresses some of those things. So there's not too much to go into there. Um,
Exactly.
so I'll go ahead and start into our showcase. I mentioned to Chegg, we've done nothing but ships in every single podcast we've done, all three of them. And I told him this time, let's do something different. Let's try something different. So I want to highlight in our showcase mining, and not just ship mining, but also FPS mining, and then some other aspects of it. So to start out, um, I was doing some testing with the Lysiana, and we were trying to figure out if you could buy multiple rucksacks to then carry more of the FPS nodes that you pick up and then be able to sell it later. The best way this works out is if you buy two rucksacks. So you put one on, you go out, you do your mining, you pick them all up. Once when it's full, you go back into your inventory, you click on that same rucksack again, and it swaps to the empty one. So you can then go on and keep picking up more of those items that you're mining up. So this was actually pretty nice because when I went out doing my regular mining runs in the prospector, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna try this out and I'm gonna really see how profitable it is. So I wasn't focused more on the prospector mining as I was on the FPS mining, and I filled up two bags, and I think I made more, but it took a lot longer because it's hit or miss with the FPS nodes. Um,
But it's a good combination,
yeah, yeah,
I think.
it's always
And it breaks
helpful.
the tediousness. Like you do
Yeah,
two different things, right?
exactly. So, I mean, if you're going to be going out doing any kind of mining in a ship, it doesn't hurt. You might as well just grab two of the rucksacks. I also recommend getting armor as well, at least some light armor, so that way you can get moved, move around very easily. And it also helps in those instances if the nodes get bugged and you're trying to mine it and it accidentally explodes.
Or you're just a bad miner like
Or,
me,
yeah.
and they explode because you repeat them.
Yep. I
But
think.
would you? Sorry, just on this
Uh-huh.
topic, because I had this conversation today, and I kind of feel like this is very viable if you're doing it in Prospector on the moons, but in Argo it doesn't feel it because you have to. It takes a while to get the ship down, to get out of the ship,
Yeah.
to get back into the ship, and then you already have to move around Argo to get like from the pilot seat to the. Huh?
Yeah.
Would
If
you
you
still do that in Argo or only in the Prospector?
Probably just a prospector, yeah. Because if you're doing, and I'll do a comparison, prospector versus mole, because we did some testing with it as well, and uh, it really, if you're in the mole, I really think that should just focus on nodes that you mine from the ship, and especially if you have two or more people. So we'll get into that in just a minute. I want to go back here.
Mm.
If you're going to get the rucksack, get two of them. Get your light armor or better. I'd get maybe medium too. Also helps. Don't get heavy because you're then kind of weighed down with the heavy armor. You can't move as easily or anything. Um,
Also, it obstructs your view, man. Some of those
yeah.
heavy armors,
Mhm.
they have like the bullet protection you literally can't see from it. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And one of the things that I often do when I'm doing FPS mining is I actually crouch down and then get close to the node, ramp it up to 100%, and then instead of trying to mess with the um, up and down of the power from the tool itself, I actually move further away and then kind of do a dance back and forth until it
Because
finally
the
does it.
power, the distance also, and this is important.
Yeah.
This works for ships and mining tool, which I will ask you to say something about that as well, because it's a segment about mining equipment more than anything else, and a little
Right.
bit of tips or tricks because he's actually mining a lot. But the distance, the power of the laser is determined by two things. One is like how much power you send into the tool, either FPS, which is like a gun tool,
Hmm.
or the ship one, but also uh, the distance that the laser is, making from the ship towards the rock. So the closer you are, the more power there is. So sometimes you can't break a rock. If you come closer, it might actually happen.
Right.
But you gotta be careful because there's like a lot of friction and whatnot. So yeah.
Yep.
So what
Um,
about the Gray Cat mining laser? Where can you buy these things? And because I don't think everyone knows, because there's two types of mining, right? You can FPS mine with the tool that you attach. You don't need a mining ship. Well, technically for mining, you don't need a mining ship, right?
right.
And then how do you get it? The other one is with ships, so two ships can mine. So yeah.
Right. And that's the next thing as well, is that with your rucksack, your two rucksacks, your armor. You also need to get the cutting tool, which, if you look in there, there's two different types of attachments. You want the mining attachment, not the cutter. The cutter is only good for getting into other ships, which I've tested it out and it's actually kind of fun to do that, but only in certain circumstances. So if you're doing mining, you want to get the mining tools. That way you can actually use that miner handgun that you get.
I know you can get in Levski and Lorville. I don't know about
I
Area 18.
believe Levski, Lorville, and I
KO, you don't
think
have it. I know that.
no, I think
But
in
I think
Area
maybe Area
18.
18. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe. I think there's everything in Area 18.
right.
It's
Yeah, I
called
think the
Grey Cat Multi-Tool, so or multi-tool, or
yeah,
with the proper attachment
not to
for
be
mine.
mistaken with the Gray Cat buggy. But that's also nice and helpful too. Is if you're doing some mining, I've taken out uh um the Cuddy Black and the Gray Cat and tried to do some of that mining as well when I was with someone that had a ship that could uh do
Yeah,
the scanning. So
but
that
then
go ahead.
the Cutty Red actually. Well, you're going to talk about that, but
Yeah.
Cutty Red, you can fit Grey Cat
Oh, the Cuddy
inside. I
Red,
did it,
not the black. Sorry, yeah. So
but
I
Cutty Red actually can scan for FPS
mhm,
nodes,
mhm.
and very well. You don't even have to pop the scanner; just fly around and you see them, which is crazy.
He's giving away all the spoilers to my section here. So so
I'm gonna shut up.
yeah, so for the FPS mining, that kind of wraps it up. Two rucksacks, get some lighter medium armor. You'll need the Gray Cat's mining tool with the mining attachment head. With that, you can go out in several different ships. You don't have to go out just in the Prospector or the Mole. There's actually the 315P, the Reliant Sen, the Terrapin, and the Cuddy Red that can all uh, scan for those FPS nodes. So, well, no, sorry, 315 cannot. They can
You can
scan the
scan the
bigger
big ones,
nodes, but
which
not the
is
FPS
useless.
nodes. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, oh man.
So, but with that, there's a very limited range with those ships. You can't scan as far. So you really have to be on the lookout. And now with the change where I don't know if it's a bug or what, but you can't get the directional arrow of where that node is, it makes it a lot harder because you have to be looking around while you're scanning to see if maybe something to the left or the right got picked up and not in your field of vision. So,
Oh, you have the small. Wait, you don't have it anymore. Or you have it.
no,
The
I don't
small,
have
like
it
for the
anymore.
quest item or whatever, the small arrow on like on your or where you're like
Yeah,
you
normally
select the route and then.
normally what used to happen was when you would scan with the scanners looking for nodes, it would give you a direction if there's a node in different directions. So
Oh
sometimes, like,
wow.
that's how I would normally, when I was scanning and I had uh, just finished getting a node and I start flying away, if I scanned it and I saw the one arrow pointing backwards, that meant, okay, that's the one behind me, and then everything else around it meant that was a new node. So, but yeah, that apparently doesn't work anymore. So you have to always be on the lookout and looking left and right to try and find all those nodes. So I'm gonna
It
get
might be a bug as well. If someone knows
yeah,
about that, please say something
yes.
because
Please
it
let me
might
know
come
if
back
there's a
in
fix for
Create 2
this.
or that.
Yeah. So getting more into the ships mining right now, available to you is the Prospector and the Mole. With those, also are available are the different mining attachment heads to those ships. Right now, the Helix 1 and the Helix 2 are the most powerful ones. Please note that the Helix 1 can only fit on the Prospector, and the Helix 2 can only fit on the Mole. Chegg found that
I
out the hard way.
I knew that.
I
Come on.
yeah.
I was just
I didn't think I had
testing
to
my chat.
ever mention it to him because I never thought he would actually be caught dead in a miner, but that's okay. We did do some testing out with some mining, me and him, in prospectors, and we went out in a mole. Um, so the biggest difference is, I think, if you're going to be single player mining, you really want to do a prospector, and the reason behind this is Um, with the prospector, you sit in that seat, you mine in that seat, you do everything alone. It's a one-player ship. That's what you do. You can have someone
Very
come with
convenient.
you. Yeah, you can have someone come with you in a prospector as the land miner, which we've also done as well. So if you go with someone else, I'd also take a prospector, and one person can do the FPS mining while the other one does the ship mining. This kind of helps, generating money as you're going, and then you can keep things going along the whole time. But if you're playing alone, the prospector is probably the best fit for you because you're going to be able to do all those actions in your seat while you're flying the ship, and then be able to get out and go do your FPS mining relatively easy. The Argo Mole is really a two or more, and I stress more, because even with two people, it it can be fun and it can be nice, but I really
Can
think when
get
you
so
have,
frustrating. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I think the Prospector Mole at this point isn't really a nice mining ship, only because it's a little bit more complicated because you have your pilot in an upper position, whereas your miners are, further back than where you're at. So a lot of the times when you come up on the nodes, you have to pitch up and you have to go a lot more forward. I'm always flying in third person mode whenever I'm in the mole, so that way I can line up to those rocks and get closer. Otherwise, it's hard
It's
to
very
get there.
it's very important. Pilot cannot mine,
Right.
so that's the big difference. In a prospector, you fly your ship and then you just switch UI. You're mining. When you're flying the mole, you can't mine. You're just flying and
Right.
scanning.
You are a
And
pilot only.
exactly. So if just like with the last season, last episode we talked about Retaliator. When you are flying Retaliator and you have torpedoes, the turrets
Yeah.
have to be manned by someone else. This is the same thing. It you are forced to like have an air crew member, or you have to go around the ship, which takes
Yeah.
time. And
And that really, I've talked to a lot of the miners within our community, and it's very frustrating with a mole single player because, like I said, the where you're sitting in the ship doesn't quite translate to where you need to have the ship to mine. So a lot of the people that have Argo moles and they go out single player style, they a lot of the times will get to the node, try to hover above it, they'll get out, go down to the one in the center, and then when they get there, they may realize, oh, I'm still too far out, or I moved too far forward, or anything. So they're having to constantly climb up and down the ladder to go into the pilot seat
the
or into
ladder,
the,
yeah.
yeah. So it wouldn't be too bad if that pilot seat and the center turret was actually like a ramp or something, or there was some other way to get down there. But climbing the ladder, one thing I'm noticing right now with Star Citizen is the ladder's not 100% guaranteed you're going to climb. Because
Mm.
I've had very frustrating times where I get to that
You
ladder.
can also get injured on
Yeah.
like going
Oh,
down
yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
If you miss the ladder and you fall down, that can be broken legs for you.
But we also have some people in the community who are absolutely for mining in Argo if you can, which pushed me into trying Argo that one day because I was mining Prospector. It was okay. I think mining is a great experience. It just doesn't work for me. But I did 2 runs for 80K each as a
Hmm.
complete pleb miner. It worked and it was okay. It's a little bit tedious and boring for me, but it worked out. And that's 160,000 alpha UC. Of course, I had Helix already.
Right.
Now, the first thing that they mention every time is right now, at this point, Prospector is probably better. But what we have to stress about is the size of the Helix. Helix 2 actually has more power than Helix 1. So right now you can break everything with Helix 1, but this is very important because it's like a bigger gun, it's like a bigger weapon, right? So eventually mole will be able to break some um, asteroids, or something that you can't break with the prospector. And the other thing is, it has more cargo space,
Mm.
more than two prospectors, right?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reason why some people will try to go out in the mole and do single player mining, is because it does have more cargo space. But I think when you weigh the amount of time you take to go between the pilot seat and the turret, and if you have to make any adjustments, I think it really equals out almost. I mean, you may come ahead a little bit in the mole, but uh,
I
honestly, it's
agree. I
yeah,
cannot. I can make more money in prospector than in mole.
yeah,
Another even more advanced, because we have few people who are only mining. Rev and Rusky, they're Rev is a miner, man. Like, that's it. Another thing that I don't even understand yet, but you know what we talked about, like, and you can explain this better than me. I'm just gonna point it out. But there are mining heads that can break something more efficient and with better result, and then there are mining heads that are, it's like different,
yeah,
that I don't know. And then what Rev says is, hey, but I can have three different mining heads on my mole, and then he knows what to break with which mining head and how to like maximize, which is,
yeah.
I mean, the depth is great.
And that's really going to come in later gameplay for mining. I think right now, like you said, when you take out the prospector with the Helix One, you can break into all those nodes. You can get whatever you need out of it and everything. Um, it, right now, it almost seems like if you go from the starter head to the Helix, that's your best bet because you're going to be
That's
able
what
to
I
get
do.
into everything. Yeah, and and the mechanics that go into how well those results come out, I don't think are in. But that's exciting because I know I've seen a lot of videos lately. Well, I don't know if it's a lot of videos, but I've seen videos of the new mining heads and the new mining mechanics that are going to be coming out for blast mining and
And
for
attachment.
yeah, and it's going to be pretty exciting because mining's my thing. So
And it's most developed. Like, even
yeah,
it's not my thing, but it's very interesting to talk about. But because I have a lot of respect for mining and how our game, has developed mining to a level where you need knowledge and skill to. It's not an AFK thing where you just, might explode or whatever, but then
mhm,
you bring it home and you sell. No, the more you know, there's like progression already in
yeah,
mining. It's
yeah.
beautiful. It's
And
I
it's
don't I don't enjoy it, but it's great.
Yeah, it seems like now that they have it implemented, they are working on, keeping it current and adding new things, which is very exciting for me. And I really hope that on top of that, they're also going to be doing that with the medical because
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
can't
Yeah.
I can't stress again, I was disappointed. I know Chegg has a different opinion, but I was disappointed when medical came in
It's
because
the
I
early version,
really
and I think it's okay.
yeah, I was really hoping for at least a little bit more, at least being able to use a med pen on another person. I mean,
As well.
that should have probably came in with the medical, but whatever. Okay, so two things I just thought of that didn't mention. If you go out FPS mining in a different ship, uh, you have the option not only to do the two rucksacks, but you can also convert those contents into SCU boxes to put inside the ship so you can continue doing more mining. So if you want to do FPS mining, it is a little bit profitable. Takes a little bit more time, I feel like, than regular mining in a prospector. But it can be very lucrative if you don't have a prospector. You can go out and do a lot of FPS mining and take in, what is it, over 10,000 SU per full rucksack. So if you're,
So the way you do it, you have to hold Control I believe.
uh-huh,
It will pop up the new UI for you, and then you'll have a box icon, that says like turn into SSU or
Yeah.
whatever,
Well, you just say
and then
I.
literally it will empty your inventory, which is also your rucksack and all that, and make it into a SSU, small size cargo unit, um, that you can carry around. Just be sure that you're in a ship that actually has cargo, or when you get to the port, let's say you're doing it in Sen or Terrapin. So they have space inside to put this, but they don't have cargo. So when you go to the terminal will not see this as tradable. So then if you have another ship, let's say Avenger Titan, you can put everything on the floor, summon your Avenger Titan, put everything in Titan, and then go and sell.
Right.
It requires a few steps, but it's good to know, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, even if you don't have that prospector, you can still go out and do your FPS mining and still make it profitable. Had night. Had night is the one that you want to go for. That's going to pay out the best.
Oh, the
Um,
FPS.
yes, for FPS mining, and
I
then
don't know this.
and I'll touch real fast. Let me pull it up on my screen here. Bexelite, Boris, Terranite, Laranite, Agricium, Hephaestonite. Those are the top uh, ship mineable resources. And then if you can't get into those because you don't have the best or you don't have the Helix mining head, titanium, diamond, gold, copper. Um, those are going to be the best items that you can mine up and try and save towards getting that not Hofstede, Helix. Hofstede's the middle one. Don't even bother buying it. Just go straight to Helix. All right. Um.
We have more.
Oh, what was the other thing I was going to say now?
You can make a beacon.
Yes. Thank you. So Chegg showed me this, which he found from another video.
Yeah.
Um, if you grab one of the beacon quests, you can
This
grab that beacon.
surveillance
Yeah.
something in PO. And it's important it's that one because you can always pick it up at PO.
Mhm. So you pick up that item and it creates a beacon. So you take that, put it in your ship, you go out, you're doing your mining, and then you cap out on your area, but you found a whole bunch of agricium, laranite, whatever,
Yeah,
and you're
it
like,
always
man,
happens.
I want to come back to this spot. Get out of the ship with that beacon, set it down in that area, go sell your stuff, and go back to the planet, find that beacon, and you can pick up where you
Yeah.
left off. So,
And because it's a quest item, you will be able to actually jump to it. It's your
mhm,
own beacon. No one else can see it.
yep.
It's really good.
It's very, very, very good tip. Very
And it
nice.
always freaking happens that you're mining, and you're like, okay, you start like making bad decisions. And then when you're like 93%, oh, there's 700% Laranite. No, you're like, check, can you come here?
Yeah,
I need this.
yeah. And I've done that quite a few times to different people
Yeah.
is I'm like, hey,
Well, you don't want to waste
can
that, man.
you
It's so
jump to
good.
where I'm at and
You
just
see,
sit
I
here
was
for
thinking
me?
about this because some ships can scan and they cannot. Uh, would you buy a beacon like that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know why
So
they wouldn't just do that right now. I mean,
no. I mean, what if I fly in 315p and I can scan the ship minables
mhm,
and I find a high concentration of laranite or agricium and I drop my beacon and I in general chat I'm like I'm selling a for 10,000 I'm selling a high concentration location of laranite. Would you do that?
yeah,
Would you buy the
probably.
location?
So that
All
could
right,
be some player content that we could test out.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question for this, two players right now, would you rather choose to go in two prospectors or one mall?
Two prospectors.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What do you guys
I
think? Like, if you're a miner, and why?
Yeah, I think that it would be fun to go out in the mole. We've done it in the mole, but it can also be
Yes.
very, very frustrating. And much rather, go out and at least mine the same area. Like me and Chegg went out. We'll get into that actually here right
Yeah.
now as we transition to what did we do in Star Citizen, Chegg?
Amongst the other things, we did mining
Yeah,
because Czech had this idea of, hey, I've never mined, so let's. I wanted to prepare for the next patch as a miner to get to that point where I can trade instead of doing Chegex
yeah,
delivery missions.
yeah. So that.
And I started with Prospector,
Uh-huh.
and it was okay. I just want to say the Prospector from the outside doesn't look that good, but the interior of Prospector is, I love it, especially that living quarter. It has all the amenities. It has a beautiful bed that is also a sofa. I mean, it just looks perfect lighting, nice toilet, and it has a really nice view from the outside. But also, mall looks so freaking good, especially from the outside. Like these mining ships, man, they look so. I'm jealous. I wish they could be used for something else as well.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then Orchid was surprised. He saw me stream. He was like, "You mining?" So many people jumped into that day in stream, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm okay." And they're like, "You're mining," and I'm like,
Well, I always
"I
knew you
told
would.
you guys."
I always knew you would try it out, but I was
Yeah,
surprised that you went and did it without me there with you to like
yeah.
experience that. I was like, you were on already in mining. I'm like, what? What are you
Well, that's
doing?
a yeah, because well, that's another thing. Like, if you guys don't know already, Orchid is in Arizona and I'm in Serbia, so the time zones are crazy. So I usually start streaming an hour before you wake up. Luckily, you wake up very early,
Yeah.
so you get to the stream early. But so the one day, and then you joined. I was like, I was down to do it with you. I couldn't wait for you to show up. So we went together to Yela, and we were just like flying around mining. It was fun. We didn't have a lot of success. 2 runs I did before that, I made like 80,000 each, and then that one we had some 30Ks again and whatnot. But I had fun. Like you're
Yeah.
flying around, finding. We're talking. He knows what should be mined. I don't. And then I would tell him, oh, this percentage, and then I would go for some low percentage. He would be like, hey, if you want, there's a rock here, and you see someone else flying with you, and you see like the scans, and it's a nice experience.
Yeah.
Honestly, I actually that day I had more fun, and then I was like, okay, the day after, and the reason for this was crazy because I was very close to having enough money on my account to buy Argo Mall, but I also didn't know how much money because it's great. I have a card where I can't check how much money I have on the card, Serbia, and so I was $10 short or something. So if I buy something online, I get a text message on my phone that tells me how much money I have left on my card. So like, let's let's get Argo and see how it is if I can do it on my own because I love the ship from the outside, and then also we can do that together. And I was like, Orchid will probably like it because he likes mining, so why not? And then I've spent about 2 hours trying to figure out why the fuck can't I attach my helixes on the mold. It was early. There was no one in the stream to tell me how dumb I am. I had an idea because I saw a different level, but then I was in Port Tolitzer. I'm like, there's no level 2 helix, so maybe it's bugged. And then I found out that you can buy it in Levski and Area 18 or something.
Mhm.
And then by that time you showed up, I think, and we went to mine together. I did not have any fun, I have to say.
Mhm.
It was very frustrating.
Yeah, the mole. We had a lot of bad luck when we took out the mole, and
Ooh,
it is.
that's true.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, like I said before, I mean, we went out before with Penny, and that
And
was
it was
fun.
great. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we
But
had a
it's
lot
really
of bad
hit or
luck.
miss, man, like big time.
Yeah, but like you said, I'd rather go out with two prospectors and go around and check things out than take the mole out right now. The mole is nice though. I love being inside the mole. I love flying the mole, but I don't like playing with
Third
the mole.
person, man. The animations on the ship, the
Yeah,
sound, the size of it,
yeah,
The interior, I'm okay with it. It has that industrial vibe. There's one thing I cannot stand, and that's the voice of your ship's
Oh,
computer.
yeah.
She's so fucking annoying. Like, it's interesting because it's so different when you hear it once or twice, and then you get that rusty robot female voice, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Fuck off!"
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something they could implement. Like, you should be able to buy different chip with the voice from like another manufacturer,
Yeah.
and I
That'd
would
be
go with
nice.
Origin or MSC. MSC, MISC is probably my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I get in my little Zen and she says, "Hello, how can Misk help you today?" I have a smile on my face. I love her. She's amazing. The Origin one is nice, but she's too bitchy. Okay, like she's like, "Ooh, I want this," and then after an hour, you're like, "Okay, get off of it." Like, I've had enough.
Another Cortana and
She
Alexa.
she, she has that nymphomaniac voice. Like, enough. I need some time on my own.
Oh my
Miss
gosh.
One, she is cool, man.
Yeah.
She's. But speaking of which, I'm straight. But bro, when you're flying that Retaliator and you hit that torpedo, and he says, "Target destroyed."
Yeah.
So, it's so good.
Yeah. Which
That's so off topic.
that,
Well,
oh,
technically
that's
it's
a good
not, yeah.
segue. What did we do with the Retaliator?
Yeah, so more to what was interesting for me, not the mining them. So I figured out that my retaliators got duplicated. I had 3 of them, and I figured out that I can actually use all 3 of them. Okay, so I was like, wait, that means because Orchid and I flew, and like if you were listening to the last episode, if you didn't, we had the entire segment on Retaliator. We were mind blown by this ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I still am. I think this will be my the only LTI ship that I will have. I love that ship is so freaking good. So I was like, wait, we can fly with 2 tallies. I mean, that's crazy firepower. And I asked Orca, "Do you want to do it?" Sure. I summoned one. He got it. It became like his ship for the session. I got the other one. He could replenish torpedoes, fix it. You had no issues with it. Everything was
No.
working fine. And I had my own. And the problem was the server we were on was pretty stable, but there were no criminals, so we had nothing to explode. So Orchid was against my will. He made me, okay? He was like, "Yeah,
You
there's no
liked
criminals.
it. You
So
liked it.
let's make some criminals of this server." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so we blew everything into pieces, man.
Everything. Anyone we could find was in
Holy
danger.
shit! And
Oh,
and it felt good, but at the same time, it felt bad.
I felt
You just
good.
blop guys in one shot, and they get very
It's happened to
frustrated.
me. It's gonna happen to you.
But it was cool though because we had bounty, and when someone would show up to, let's say, hunt Orchid, then he would be like, "Okay, I had one on me," and in a retaliator, it's very hard to retaliate because you have no fucking weapons. Except for torpedoes, you might be out of torpedoes because you only have 6. And then we'd be like, okay, I would tell him, okay, fly towards me. I would lock him. The target is chasing. It was
Yeah.
proper dogfighting.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and then I would get him off your tail. In the meantime, someone would start chasing me. Orchid would take them down, and like,
Yep.
he was.
It was a
It's
lot of
hot.
fun. It was a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
it's
That's
good.
probably
It's
the
good.
most fun we had being the bad guys so far. The piracy thing was fun, but that was a lot of fun because that was true.
True.
Like, I think my favorite part was when we were at Grim Hex and that freelancer, when I was trying to hunt him
Oh my
down,
god, yeah.
couldn't get him because I ran out of torpedoes. And then when I was flying back towards Grim Hex, Chegg was flying towards him. We went right next to each other, flying right by, and
And
Chegg just went right after him. He's like, he's
that guy
dead.
actually figured out you don't have any more ammo, so he was actually
Yeah,
chasing you, trying to kill you in the
yeah,
fucking freelancer. And I'm like,
yeah.
catch this, bro.
Sorry, bro. I got a friend.
There was another guy in Grim Hacks in the Cutlass Black, and I was waiting for you to get your torpedoes, and I flew straight in front of him. I did not let him like jump, and he got so frustrated. I remember he was actually using the voice chat, the
Oh yeah,
proximity voice
yeah.
chat. He was like, "Get away from here! I don't want you here!" Like he was. So, I'm like, okay.
At one point, we knew we were finished, and this guy was sitting here
Oh my god, we were
yelling at Chegg and
bouncing.
everything. I
Yeah.
just took my ship and used it as a battering ram, ram in him several
We were
times.
bouncing this guy like a game of soccer slash football, man. It was,
Yeah, it was fun. I
but
had a lot of fun.
so this is something I'm looking forward to, because eventually, if everything goes by the plan, um, as bounty hunters, you're on a side of UAE. Basically, you're getting paid by the law to hunt criminals. But the same way, the criminals will be bounty hunting cops. So that will be implemented at some point. Now, the day after we were doing the same, but we were like hunting we were doing bounty hunting, or I was doing it. I don't remember if around or not. I think we did that as well, but you were like flying arrow or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And or gladius, or it doesn't really matter. And that, if we could have this same experience, but being on a good side, so I don't have to blow someone for no fucking reason, because yeah, it was fun, but I feel bad about that, because that would be great, because then someone with a bounty can chase you, and then we can kill him, and that creates really nice interaction. However, with all this said, I don't like dogfighting in this game at all, and I don't think torpedoes are dogfighting. I do like torpedoes.
Yeah.
Torpedoes are cool.
That was one of the things that we ran into as well, was the guy that was outside of PO, and we were trying to chase him down launching torpedoes and couldn't get him, and he wouldn't fight us because he wanted to dogfight with
Yeah.
weapons instead of missiles and torpedoes. So,
Oh yeah.
but it is what it is.
I had few situations as well in Italy this last week, where there was a guy in PO who was, I know this is not a popular, I don't know if I should say it, who was, um how do you call that, when you are constantly killing innocent people in the game?
A troll.
There's a better word for it, but yeah. So there were some new players. There was a guy in a prospector that 2 times tried to like come back with full cargo, and this guy was killing him in Gladius, in Pirate Gladius. And the guy was asking in general chat what to do because he can't play, and I was just approaching in my Sen, and this guy in mad pirate in Pirate Gladius attacking Sen that doesn't even have weapons. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked him in general, like, what are you, like, you just killed Sen. Like, what the fuck, bro? I can't even fight back.
Yeah.
Literally don't have weapons. And he was so cocky and all that. But I don't care, because I flew so close to, that was kind of cool. I flew close to PO. He blew my ship, and I spawned in PO instead of Levski. So I was like, well, even better. I don't have to land.
Yeah.
But then while I was in PO minding my own business, I saw this other guy in a prospector again being killed, and by that same guy. So I was like, okay. I got my tally, fired one torpedo, killed this motherfucker that is literally troubling everyone, and like Auroras, freelancers, new players, everyone. And oh my god, he was so furious. He was bitching about it for like half an hour, and I killed him 2 times. And I was like, bro, I'm not a good dogfighter, but what you're doing is not cool.
Yeah.
And I have torpedoes. And also, I get 10,000 whenever I kill you. So, the fuck you want?
Yeah.
He was like, come fight me, bro, and stuff like that. I was like, I am.
Yeah. Come fight my
You're sending
torpedoes.
the message in the bottle, bro. and then this guy got so frustrated. He was calling me names and whatnot. Which is fine. I understand the frustration. And he was like, "You're cheating. You're playing fucking size 9 torpedoes." And then the other guy shows up in the chat, and he's like, "Are you the one who is flying Gladius with attritions or whatever the most OP guns in the game are right now, and are not doing what they're ignoring armor or shields or something like that, which is why he blops just everything." And then he did not say a word anymore. Like, this guy was like, "You deserve those torpedoes, bro."
Yeah, yeah,
Which I don't know anything about this.
yeah.
I just found it funny. How can you be pissed off for hours? You're terrorizing freaking new players there with like defenseless ships who don't even know to fly fast into, or can't. Sen cannot fly that fast into their armistice zone.
Mhm.
And if you ignore a little bit of armor that I have on my Sen, I'm dead. Like that, I can't do anything, and I can't fight back. With what? I'm gonna throw my camera at you?
I'm gonna take
No?
pictures of you,
Yeah.
send it into
So
the
yeah, that was cool.
authorities. Um,
What else did we do? You
what
wanna? What else did we do?
what else did we do? We did not play
We did
Star Citizen for a
we
little
we
bit.
did something that we didn't do in a year, bro.
Yeah, so since we're waiting on 3.8.2, I gotta premise this because we
Yeah.
still play Star Citizen, we still jump in from time to time, but since we know that wipe is coming soon and the patch is coming soon, we're kind of in an area where we don't want to work too much towards anything because we know it's gonna be gone. So we're thinking right now we jump in, we just kind of play around a little bit, but we've
The
been
motivation is hard to find because you,
yeah,
you can't have any goals when the reset can happen today.
and Chegg said it best because it's been 2 weeks now that we've been waiting because we hear about 3.8.2. There's no concrete timeline when that will be pushed out. A lot of people want to keep telling us, "Oh, it's always on this date," or "It's always the whatever Friday
And,
of the
and
month,"
that's
or
based on
whatever.
their experience. No one is trying to debate us or
Right,
anything. Just
right. It's just that you don't know for sure. The developers do
exactly.
not tell you a set date for a very specific reason because things can go wrong. They could be working on this patch and then something happens where they have to delay it. They don't want to tell you, okay, it'll be out February 28th, and then find out, oh, we can't push it out because we just found this. So,
I, this is true, but I disagree with this because they want us to test the game, right? The more people play the game, the better for the game development.
mhm,
And if they can say a ship is coming at that and that date, and then the ship comes out 4 years later, you can say we are planning on the reset in 4 weeks. So keep that in mind. And then they can delay that. That's fine. We don't have any information. We're like, it's out of our butts. Like, you have people now who are saying there will be no reset for 3.8.2. You have people who are saying they will reset, but the persistence is already in. You have people who are saying they will reset this week. You have people who are saying, I mean, it's all over the place. Like, you really have no clue. And if I knew the reset will not happen for 2 or 3 weeks, I would be playing more because that's enough time for me to reach a goal, to get another shit that I want to try, to try another way of making money for the next patch. But if I feel like the reset will happen tomorrow, I'm just a human. Like,
right.
I can't just make myself do that. And I really wish they had a tiny bit of speculative information that comes from them. It's okay. Say that we plan the reset, or we are not planning the reset, but it might happen. That's fine.
Mhm.
Around this week, let's say. So if they said last week of February, we're planning to reset, the date might change.
Yeah,
Okay, now I know that up to that date, unless something goes wrong, because of course something can go wrong, it's alpha, I can play.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I would like that little bit of information. I mean, I think we deserve it because in the end, we are Q&A testers that are paying money to test the game.
Right.
In
Well,
the end.
and exactly, and I agree with you. I really think it would be so much better if they could at least just say, listen, on the fourth Friday of every month is when we plan on releasing an update. So that
Or
way,
that.
yeah, so at least
Yeah.
we know a timeline of when roughly to expect it. And then if it comes to that point and they say, "Hey, we're sorry, we're still working out some kinks. We're going to
It's
delay it
okay.
by a week or two." So, yeah. But it would be nice to kind of have that, knowledge. And I know a lot of people that exactly, they're like you said before, they've been with this game for such a long time that they do kind of expect things around a certain time. But why not just state it? Why not just say, "Hey,
True.
we're
There's other
releasing"?
type of people as well who are not even playing the game but
Mhm.
are closely following the development, and they are telling those like me it's in alpha and they don't have to do anything. Sure, but with all due respect, and your money is probably more worth to the development of the game, because I know there are some people who invested thousands of dollars in a game, but they're not playing it because it's stressful. And I know the amounts of money that they invest. I respect that because it's helping the project that I want to play. Um, but playing the game in alpha is also important for the development of the game because that's how devs get feedback. And as someone who is playing the game on daily basis, and funny enough, I'm going to mention someone's name now, which I did not expect, but still, there are some of us who play the game every day, and to continue playing the game every day, I can turn a sandbox game into something that is fun for me. I have that in me, but I need to know at least a little bit of information of where when the cycle ends and starts. I don't mind whenever it can be once a week. I don't care as long as I just need to. I need to know roughly what's the plan. There's someone who actually followed my stream today, but I know them from several podcasts that I watched. And yeah, thank you for following the channel and saying nice words about the our podcast. His name is um wait, Masochast, which he always makes a joke about that being almost a masochist because he does the same. And in some things we're so similar because he's one of those people who will always find a way to play the game. I mean, it's not for everyone, and there's no right or wrong, but some of us play game a lot, and this is very crucial information for us to kind of be able to process that and figure out what we want to do in like which time periods and whatnot. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be really good.
Yeah. I mean, wishful thinking. But yeah, just kind of touch on it. We decided, Chegg mentioned we started up playing another game that we haven't touched in over a year now, which is Fallout 76. We won't go into the details because this isn't
No,
a Fallout 76 podcast, but it's
but
nice
it's
to kind
fun.
of go back to it and
Yeah.
play around with that while we're waiting on that the Star Citizen update, and then we know as soon as that update's out,
Oh,
Fallout
of course.
76 is gone. We're back in Star Citizen, and
It's
we're gonna be
actually
working.
I'm surprised. So everyone knows about Fallout 76 and what the drama is around it and whatnot. But you and me actually, when Fallout 76 was announced, we got the game in beta. We changed our channels into like we rebranded our
Yeah,
channels to Fallout 76. We were like, "Oh, this is our game,
yeah,
man." I love Fallout 1 and Fallout 2, and I don't really like anything afterwards, but Orchid liked the later ones. So we have that love for Fallout franchise and the post-apocalyptic atmosphere and whatnot. And then after, and to be honest, we had so much fun back then. I'm not, and people started bashing the game. I never agreed with the reasons, like NPCs and stuff like that. I thought that's not a problem. The game had serious issues, but that was not for me the problem. But then after about 150, 200 hours, we just stopped. It was like, shit, man, it's just not working out.
yeah,
And then coming back after a year, I think the funny thing is that the first few hours we were playing, we're like, man, this is fun. We had fun
yeah,
doing this.
yeah. It was a fun game, but I think the thing that really killed it for us was the lack of content. I mean, it was
Mm.
you had a lot of quests, you had a lot of things that you could do in there, yes, but
We were lost. It's like looting,
yeah,
looting for what?
and
But
you
I
pick
think
up one
it's
quest, you go to another
same.
quest, and then you go to another quest, and you never finish one that you
Yeah,
started. So
it was very confusing and still is for me. But I think it's the same now. Like right now, and I'm streaming it a lot, actually. Today I finally streamed Star Citizen again after Fallout. But
yeah,
I think the same would happen in a few days for me. But as something, because we're, let's face it, um, we are dedicated a lot of our time to Star Citizen. It is a game in alpha that has, I will say this, but I will, like it has very slow development for someone to actively play and make content out of it.
right,
Right? I don't think it's slow in development in general. No, I think it's doing great. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but and I always say, because you see every step that they make, unlike some other games that you get when they're done and you did not see 6-7 years of development before, it just drops out, and then you have a hot patch, that hot fix that fixes the problems, and then around fixes the problems, but the game is already complete. No, this is open development, which is what makes it feels slow, because you see step by step, right? And I think in that way, Fallout was a really good patch and still is, in between like these droughts when we don't, I don't know what to do. And playing together,
mhm,
Fallout 76, you need to play Fallout 76 with someone, actually.
yeah, yeah, it's a
It
lot of
feels
fun.
better.
Um,
Yeah.
so that kind of segues into we talked just a little bit about what we're gonna do uh, after the release of 382. So,
The plans.
what is our plans for the future? So we both have been talking about it. You know, what do we want to do once when we can persistence with alpha UEC credits in our ships? And of course, we both are big fans of the Retaliator. So this time around, I'm gonna take the Retaliator and use that for whatever activities we're doing. And
I
then
have an idea. We did not talk about what we can use
we'll talk later.
torpedoes on.
Okay. Watch for content. Hopefully, eventually, I start recording again. I don't know what's been going on, but I haven't been recording what
We
we're
haven't been
doing.
playing.
What's that?
We haven't played that much.
Yeah,
The
it's
hype
true.
is toned down. Eh?
Yeah. So I
So
will work very hard after 382 to at least make one more video of highlights that of things that we're doing. So I will try to get one out between 382 and the next podcast. So you guys see something else besides just the podcast, but maybe you just enjoy the podcast. So whatever. So Retaliator is mine. You're going for
Eclipse.
and why?
So I'm pretty sure Retaliator is my future ship. Not the only ship, obviously. Send Retaliator. Few ships that I have like my eyes set on. But I do play alone quite a lot, and Eclipse is small Retaliator with the same firepower. It has less torpedoes, but it's the same size torpedoes. It's a single seater, which I don't like, but I wanna. It's a stealth ship, and it has guns, so I can actually nuke the big targets with my torpedoes. Then I can dogfight, maybe with some good shields and whatnot, with some like smaller ships, pirates and whatnot,
Hmm.
when it comes to PvE. But this gives us an opportunity to have multiple ships with torpedoes. And well, I'm just gonna mention it. So there's gonna be a lot of Carracks around, and apparently it takes 2 torpedoes to kill a Carrack. So that's 1 torpedo from my ship, 1 torpedo from your ship, and big smile on our face. I also mentioned this in the streams, and it would be really cool to, the next organized event that we can do with our community is weekends, a lot of carrots will come out, so we go and hunt some vegetables in the space. So it would be great if we would have like someone with QED. I can do that probably with the Mantis, and then we can have someone, maybe Rusky, with the what's the name, EMP, and you can torp, and someone else can fly my torpedo ship or whatever, and we can hunt carrots the entire day,
Yeah.
or what, like as a community thing. I don't like. I I just want to say, carrot is is a beautiful ship. It's super polished. It looks great inside. Um, what I hate about it is amount of hype. And those of you who are watching me for a while, I've been streaming for over 2 years, so people know I hate when something is overhyped. And I never play meta. I never, not because I think it's wrong. It kills. For me, it kills it. If everyone around is flying Carracks, I I don't want to fly that thing anymore. It's not fun. Like, I really like Freelancer, but I'm not flying a Freelancer anymore because everyone has one, which is okay. It's a
Yeah.
workaround. I'm not blaming CIG for giving the ship, but passively, it kills that excitement for me to fly that ship because
And,
everyone has it.
and that's exactly why you fly Ascend, because that's not a
Yes,
common
no
ship.
one has it.
No one's using it, so. But to get back on track of what we were talking about, some of the plans of what we want to do. I've been eyeballing the Phoenix for the longest time
I was
now,
just about to, yeah.
and
So if we have persistence
yeah, that's gonna be my
for at
luxury
least
ship.
2 patches, I think we might end up with Orchid's Phoenix, and I want to see if I like 600, but that's 10 million.
Yes,
But but
I want that too, but yes, that's a very expensive ship. So
yeah,
if we
yeah,
can build up to that, I think it'd be nice if we can get the Phoenix and the 600 series,
that would be cool.
a second Caterpillar. Um,
Yeah,
maybe maybe
if
we
we're
buy a
aiming for that,
Carrack
we
in
will need
game.
to. It's not gonna be in game yet,
No,
but yeah.
just
If we buy Carrack in game, if they allow it, we're gonna dummy test Carrack, like how fast you have to go into the surface to explode and stuff like that.
yeah.
How long can you survive underwater? Half a second, second and a half. There's a lot of tests that have to be done with Carrot.
Yeah. How, I've already seen the extensive how many things can you fit into
Oh
the
yeah.
Carrack, and it's just
Mm.
that's all that was going on for the last few days on streams was, oh, let's see if I can fit this in here. And I'm like,
It's killing me, man.
yeah.
I am so hungry for, me. I always watch Twitch, YouTube, Reddit. I am so thirsty for content. And I always was, but when I started playing Star Citizen, it just went through the roof. And this week, I'm fucking sick of it. If you go to Reddit, 100 posts are Carrack. If you go to Twitch,
Hmm.
everyone has Carrack in their name and it's flying Carrack. If you go to YouTube, every YouTuber is doing one video about Carrack release, the other video about walking around Carrack.
Yeah.
Hey, just
There's a lot of hype.
if you don't care about the Carrack, no puns intended. Uh, it's a rough week, man,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be rough when the patch hits because, like what you said at the beginning, it's gonna be World of Carrack.
Yep. Yep. Um, I think I think we need to transition to our new segment, and this is going to be interesting because we're trying something different. We were doing community outreach. Um, we
Which we want to keep,
yeah,
but in a different.
we'll still be shouting out some content creators. We're still planning on trying to get some content creators to come on with us while
Yeah,
we do the podcast. But I think it's better if we just kind of casually put those in different places like we have already. And we're going to create a new segment now, which is going to be called.
Suggestions?
We need to
It's
come
gonna
up.
be called.
We need to come up
Oh,
with a better name.
come on, Dev.
Come on, devs. Name pending. We're still working on that,
I
but
I like that.
yeah,
If anyone is watching, pardon the interruption on ESPN, and you've seen, come on,
yeah,
man. That's
yeah.
that's it.
Um,
Um,
so yeah, so what we were thinking about, and we were just talking about it right before we started recording the show, is the is being able to maybe take just a small segment of the podcast and talk about some suggestions that we have or some
or
ideas
ideas.
that
Yeah.
yeah
Yeah.
that might be nice. Everybody's got ideas, everybody's got suggestions on how the game could be better. If devs happen to watch this, let's give them our
At some point.
feedback. Yeah.
And we know we're not developers. We know that sometimes things seem super easy,
Yeah.
but in reality, God knows what's behind it and what you have to change in order for something simple to implement or whatever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt to throw an idea out, right?
Yeah, and one of the things that I found interesting when we were talking about this, I just thought of this, but I remember reading something on Spectrum where um, someone from the community posted something on Spectrum, and one of the developers replied back and said, "Hey, you know what? That actually sounds really like a really good idea. I'll
Oh,
bring
there.
this up,
Yeah.
and we'll see what we can do." So I mean, you're not going to get every idea out there, and the devs are going to take it and run with it. But at least it doesn't hurt to say it and bring it up. So let's talk about piracy, Chegg.
Yarr.
All right, let's do this. um, so this hat doesn't work well with my headset, so I'm just gonna kind of hold this so it doesn't fall off my face. But so I know I've heard Salty Mike talk about piracy quite a bit,
Mhm.
and
And he's not a pirate, by the way,
yeah,
but he wants it to function.
exactly. And that's the thing is I think the same thing for me and Chegg. It'd be fun to
Mhm.
do maybe once in a while, but it's not something that we're avidly looking for.
It's nice
Um,
content, though.
yeah, and you came up with a suggestion. I want you to go into details. So,
Sure.
what was it that you think about piracy that would be effective in the game?
We have to just quickly roll back to what we did once. So yeah, so we heard Salty Mike talking about how the piracy does not exist in a game and it's impossible to execute this. And this inspired us to try and make a piracy that makes sense. And if you roll back, there's videos about this, and also we talked about this, I think, in the first episode,
Hmm.
where we managed to steal, unfortunately, Koreans pilots caterpillar, which is full of cargo. And I'm not gonna go into details, but long story short, I killed the guy before he managed to get up in the ship. Orchid was on the elevator, so he was not in the same group. He was not a criminal. He has the ship. I'm a criminal, right? He has the ship.
Hmm.
However, with the full ship of cargo, and Caterpillar can be worth 400,000 of the full of titanium. Um, what we did is we asked for ransom. So we contacted the person and asked for something silly. It was like 10,000 Alpha UC, which he ended up not having. It was a shit show because guess what? We can't speak Korean. Um, but it worked. So we could technically make money on piracy. We stole the ship full of cargo. We could sell it. He got his ship back and he made money and all that.
Yeah.
We should have asked him for the money afterwards. We're stupid. I just figured that out.
Well, and
He got the ship back.
someone pointed out that we got very, very lucky with
Yes,
that
that's
because the
true.
desync played a big role where he didn't know I was on the ramp and he raised it right before you shot him. Otherwise,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have worked. So,
I Yeah, but now that I know, since I'm such a sharpshooter, which if you watch that video, you'll see is
uh huh.
totally true.
Hmm.
But you can wait for that as well, right? You can wait for the guy to call the elevator, then kill him. Um, Whatever. Like, but the point is, it's extremely difficult to catch a pilot in a non-armistice zone with an open ship and steal the ship. It's very, very difficult, but it's doable. Um, but then the reward is not there. And here's my train of thoughts. This might be extremely simple, but it might be extremely complicated. I don't know. The only thing that needs to happen is for the person that does not have criminal crime stat. So in this case, Orchid. So I shoot the pilot. Orchid ends up in his ship. The ship is nobody's. And I'll explain this later on. This is the current situation in our world that we live in current state with ships. But what needs to happen is Orchid has no criminal status. He is flying the ship. He can operate the entire ship because the pilot is dead, and he can this is already in the game. You can request landing. You will get the permission to land in Port Olisar. You can get the permission to land in any hangar. They will let you land the ship. However, once you land the ship and you go to sell the goods, you don't see that ship. Even though you were piloting it, you don't see that ship on the terminal. So you cannot sell the goods, which sucks. And here's why. If you could sell, if you know, I don't expect this ship to be yours, but for the end for the rest of the session it is. So if you could sell the goods, there's your piracy, there's new gameplay mechanic. Not only that it's gonna, because listen, I buy 400,000 alpha UEC of cargo of titanium in my Caterpillar, but if you steal it from me, so I buy for 400,000, I sell for 440,000. So I am good. No, we sell for 500,000. So I make 100,000 per cargo run. 100. That's a lot of money. If Orchid steals my ship and he sells it, he's 500, 500,000 good, because he's not investing anything. Now this is worth 10 days of planning, 10 days of trying. You know what I mean? Like, if that's the case, and then if you're super lucky, you can pull 2 in one day. Oh, you're fucking good for a month now. You have a million.
Yeah.
So, which would also pull escort, because now that you know that this is a thing, you're going to go with a buddy, man. You're not going to go on your own. You're looking at me, dude. You're not going to land your ship, you know, because you don't want to get in trouble. Like, why would you? But there will always be people who are like, it's fine. I'm not going to be attacked by pirates, just like IRL, right? It's not going to happen to me. So the reason this crossed my mind, I'm a sailor IRL, or was. For 10 years, I used to work onboard ships, and the rule right now that stands, and for a really good reason, if there's a ship on the open waters that does not have crew or captain, which is the same, right? If you don't have crew, you don't have a captain. And so if it's an empty vessel and someone approaches it, no matter who the owner of the vessel was prior to abandoning ship, once you set your foot on the ship that was previously empty, the ship is yours. You have claimed the ship. You can negotiate, you can give the ship back, but it's up to you. No one can make you give that ship back. Let's say you get the fucking US, I don't know, Enterprise. It's yours, baby. No one can, I mean, they can declare war, yes, but you are the owner of the ship. Right now, IRL, and for hundreds of years back, and I'll explain why this is, it might be interesting for some people. A lot of ships are, especially back in the days, were not very reliable. They were reliable enough to be used a lot, but you have hurricanes, you have fire, you have, there's so many things that can happen. You have hypothermia, you have cold weather, hot weather that you did not know that you're going to encounter. You can starve, you can get, what's the name, the poison that you get with lead,
Lead poisoning.
scurvy, you have,
Oh, scurvy.
dude, like so many things, and the crew can die on board, right? The crew can die. The ship, there's a Serbian ship. There's an old Serbian ship that is the most famous ghost ship in the world to this day, and it's believed that now it's full of rats. It's actually a pretty big ship that is floating around the ocean. It changed, I don't know, like 7 captains. It was in every part of the world, and now it's somewhere in the Northern European Sea. Um, it's called a ghost ship because every crew that was on board somehow managed to perish. But if someone finds this ship, what's happening? Whose ship is this? If people are dead, so this law is there for a good reason, because a big vessel on the water is valuable, and if there's no owner of it, it's actually a threat. So you
Right.
want to make people, whoever knows this law, if they see a big empty ship, of course you're gonna claim the ship. If you're like fucking, even if you're like I don't know, a farmer, a cabbage farmer in England, if you see a big ship that has no one on it, hey, you're gonna become rich. You're gonna sell the ship. You're gonna, you know.
Hmm.
So with this law, it kind of pushes people towards claiming the ship. So if we have this law right now, and I don't see that changing ever because it makes no sense. That's all we need in in Star Citizen. And to me, it really feels like it's not that complicated because
And
it's already there.
and I've heard CIG mention before that when they think about developing certain things, they look to maritime law because that
Makes
is,
sense.
yeah, it makes the most sense because that's what space would be under, because there's no ownership to space. So, yeah, I really think with piracy, and if they follow maritime law, I think a lot of that stuff needs to be followed so that way piracy can be a thing and not make it, you know, near impossible to do anything once when you actually have a ship. So, and one of the things that brought this discussion up as well was we started talking before about the persistence, and we saw the video of the 4 ships that got blown up. Chegg brought up a good point. We could blow up those ships, but then you have hundreds of little pieces of cargo laying around or
Thousands.
floating in space. You're not going to want to go through and collect all those and put them into your ships. So,
For the dead time that you're collecting everything, you're gonna go and make much delivering mission.
yeah. And it would make more sense that if you were in a ship and you could disable their engines and then be able to board them, attack them, kill them, and then take
Well, yeah,
over that ship.
and they want
So,
that. I was told today when I brought this up in my chat, in my stream, that someone said, I think it was Aliciana, I'm not sure, but that their idea is that you will be able to infiltrate the ship, hack the ship, so that you can like in Expense,
mhm,
like they stole the Martian ship and then they turned it into Rocinante, which is a tanker, obviously not, but that's what the ship's chip would like present, right?
right.
So
The
you'll be able to do
transponder.
this, but this is, yeah, the transport, but this is, I can see how this is very complex implementation, and it's great that they have that as an idea. I love it. I think it's great. But now we have almost everything. The only thing that needs to change is for the current, if the ship's captain is dead, the current new pilot is a new captain and can sell the cargo.
Right.
So he retains the ownership of the ship for the session. Because if you steal NPC Valkyrie, you have it for the rest of your session. If you steal another player's ship, let's say someone landed on Hurston for sightseeing and you sneak into their ship and you go, oh, it's your ship. They can't do anything. They don't even see where the ship is anymore. And until you log off, right? Which is fine.
Mhm.
But for that session, so just let me sell whatever is in the ship, and immediately you have piracy, you have escorts, you have multi-crew gameplay because hey, now a lot is at stake. That's all. That's all that needs to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be. I think with the game, that needs to be looked at because it really is something that you should expect in space. There's no laws in an area that can't be enforced in deep space, in between planets, stuff like that, yeah, you're going to have the UEE and stuff like that to help enforce
You'll have
near
UE somewhere.
planets. Yeah, they're going to be near planets, and there's also going to be security for those planets. But when you're out
Sure.
in deep space, you should
Or
be able
pyro.
to, yeah, there should be some type of piracy. It shouldn't be just, comfy and cozy all the time. So that's our
But they're
suggestion.
they're very bad when we talk about maritime law. I'm very disappointed with some things. And I'll just mention one thing and take that as a suggestion. If anyone's watching, please, you have a lot of players in your player base. Maybe not the big percentage, but you have a lot, like not the high concentration, but a lot of players who are connected to either planes or ships IRL. And our brains are washed for a good reason, because if you are living on board a vessel such as plane or a ship which connects to Star Citizen pretty good, you are constantly under pressure of something may be happening. So when you work on a cruise ship as a crew member, if you're a cook or a cleaner or a captain, everyone needs to know escape routes, fire prevention plan, and all that stuff. One thing, and our brains just work like that. I know what to do in certain situations because not only my life, but lives of thousands of people are dependent on this. Because if you're on a vacation, you don't care about this, right? You go through the drill, but you count on crew to tell you what to do, which is fine as long as you can listen. That's actually the best way. The signalization. How do you say that? Sorry, I'm not native in English, so the lights and all that. How's that?
Oh, the signals, yeah,
Signaling, whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
Morse code.
In the game, no, the
Oh,
lights
oh,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
ship,
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
it's all over the place, man. And this is universal thing that probably will never ever change because there's no reason for that whatsoever. Every ship and every plane in this fucking world has three types of lights. The white lights that you have in front of your ship, just like in Star Citizen, which is perfectly fine, except for some ships that are super low, but it's there,
Yeah,
right? So these are not signal lights. This is for you to see in front of you. When you're driving a car, your lights, your white lights in front of the car, they are signaling lights because when someone is coming towards you, they just need to see that you're coming from the other direction, and they know there's a line between because it's a road, right? And you're not allowed to cross the line. So you need two lights so to know where the each edge of the car is, right? And that's it. It's that simple. With ships and planes, there's no fucking line in between us. So I need to know where is green light and where is red light. And there's two problems in Star Citizen. Three, some ships have green and red light on the sides and some not. Please, all ships need this. This is game breaking to me. It's so simple. If you are designing a ship, this is the first thing you need to do. Second thing, in case you guys don't know, and I'm getting heated here, I'm sorry, but this is like this crazy to me. For this, if your boat or a ship does not have this properly, it's not it cannot go, it cannot sail. That's it. At end of discussion. It will never be able to
right.
sail. And you will lose your license for the rest of your fucking life. So every ship has this like red and light and green signals on port and starboard side. Now on in Star Citizen, and I can tell you right now, most of the ships, let's say Aurora is a perfect example. She's perfect. She has green light on her right wing, which is starboard side, red light on her left wing, which is port side. At the very end of it, forward, so that it's very visible. They're blinking. It's beautiful. It's perfect. So when I'm approaching, I know where her left, where her right is, and where I can go, and how wide the ship is. And then you get the 85X, where the lights are flipped. Are you fucking kidding me? That's like if you had a car and instead of white lights in front, you had red light.
Yeah.
which are stoplights,
Or
but you're driving
your
like
left
that.
blinker indicates right, and your right
But
blinker
yeah, but
indicates left.
they're the same color, right? But yeah, you turn the left blinker and you go right.
Yeah.
It's like that's what you're doing. Not only that, but the lights are in the middle of the ship, not on the wings. They're
Yeah.
in the middle of the ship under, and they're blinking like red, red, green, red, green, red. What? Excuse me? Are these
Yeah.
are these New Year's like decorations or what? I don't get it.
Yeah.
And the wings, they don't have anything on them. Are you crazy? Like that's what the lights are. These lights, guys, you who are designing the ships. I understand some of you are not ship designers, you're just game designers, which is perfectly fine. But I mean, this is the core of every ship or you know flying vehicle. They have to be on the furthest visible edge,
Yeah.
port and starboard. One has to be green, one has to be red. Starboard always green, port always red. That's simple.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all that has to happen.
And then you can light it up everywhere else however you wish, because
Just don't use red and green.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
you like do whatever you want.
Yeah.
The rest.
And I love the Cuddy red because it looks like it's an
Oh, it's
ambulance and all those lights.
Yeah.
You know how I love lights.
Yeah,
And then
and I think that's great. That
yeah,
signalization is great.
and things like the cargo or the Argo mole have the yellow
Mm.
lights to
Mhm,
indicate
mhm.
it's a working ship. It's something that
It's
you need to look
perfect. I
out
love
for.
that.
Yeah, it's basically to warn you, hey, this ship is not gonna yield to you. You need to yield to
Exactly.
it. So
And
yeah,
it's not dangerous. It's carrying right. That's
yeah,
something that would be cool as well. Like if you are carrying, if you are in an Argo mall and you have full cargo of Baxalite, and you have your orange lights, it should be like extra crime if someone shoots at you because you are
it's
signaling that you're just carrying, you know,
yeah,
minerals. And but also, if you attack someone while in that mode, holy shit, you should suffer consequences. Like that would be really cool. See, it just crossed my mind. Like
yeah,
if you turn on these lights, people should ignore same like with maybe red because it's an ambulance, right? But then the moment you do something wrong, because people will not attack you
hmm
because there's a consequence. Now, if you use this against them, or you should never be allowed to use those lights for like a month or whatever. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like because hey,
Well, there you go. Just a couple suggestions from us plebs to.
I'm sorry about being heated.
No, you're good. No, and it makes sense. It makes absolute sense because then it also helps indicating which direction someone is going if that's all you can see. If you see red and
That's a
green or green and red,
perfect system.
exactly.
And so
So
simple, but it's so perfect.
it seems simple to us. We don't know what goes into it. So like we said, we're not developers, so we
No, no,
don't
no,
know.
no. I'm not
Yeah.
saying. I mean the system
Oh yeah, the system
IRL,
that's in
the
place
signaling
already.
system that exactly it's simple and perfect, and I don't see that being changed in thousand years, which is where our game is, right?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. All right. Well, you have the outro, sir. So
No, I
take it
have the
away.
outro.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we came to an end of episode 4 of Star Citizenship. I have to say, I'm really enjoying this. I'm going through a really rough period IRL, but this was never under question. And I want to, because this is the first time that I'm closing the show, because that guy there across me is in charge. Charge! But I want to use this to thank Orchid for doing this, and I'm really enjoying because I'm a huge fan of podcasts and just first time ever having being part of one my own on my own is just a blast. And I don't know about you, but I'm having a lot of fun
Oh yeah. Yeah.
doing this.
This
And I want to
definitely
thank.
this
Go
definitely
for it.
enhances our Star Citizen experience because not
Oh,
only
for
does
sure.
it, so one thing to preface is Chegg is all about the Star Citizen content, and he's not even joking when he says he watches every video, listens to podcasts. I I don't have enough
He has
time in
kids
the day. Yeah, I
and
have a wife, I got
job.
3 kids, so I really appreciate that Chegg's forcing me to learn some of these things and keep in tune with what's going on with Star Citizen, because it really helps me be more engrossed into the game and being able to be more connected to the game. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a lot
It's
of
more
fun.
enjoyable to play when you're thinking about this in the background as well. With that said, I also want to thank everyone for whoever is just listening to it. I think everything matters for YouTube metrics. We are new. This channel is brand new. Orchid has his own channel. I have my own channel, but this we made the brand new. He made the brand new channel, and every like, every subscription, it matters. So that it, the reason for this, and I'm always open with these things. Like, people will tell you, use my code for Star Citizen to get 5,000 Alpha UC. It's one quest in the game. No, use it because I can get a $90 ship, right? I mean, so please use a code under to
Yeah.
help Orchid in this case. Um, the other thing is, the more people like or subscribe to the channel, the YouTube works like that. The more of those you have, the better the chances for new people for this video that you're watching and you might enjoy to be suggested to. So yeah, if you don't mind, if you enjoyed, if you did not enjoy it, you didn't make it this far anyways. But if you did, please throw a like and subscribe, unless you have a good reason not to do it, which I understand, it's fair. um, and another thing that really helps is sharing is caring. Like, if you know someone who is new, or yeah, or think would enjoy more Star Citizen content, even though we're not by any means pros of this game or anything. We're just two plebs enjoying it. We're new to it, but we're having a lot of fun. I'm very passionate about it. Um, Share it because someone might like it. Yeah. So I mean, that's it. We can wrap it up.
Just wrap it
Where
up
can
then.
people find you,
Why
Archite?
why are you still listening? Oh wait, yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah, so we're across various channels here. You can always check out Bearded Check's live streams on Twitch slash no
Twitch
twitch.tv
TV,
slash bearded check. I will be directing most of my content on the Star Citizenship YouTube channel. You can check us both out
this
on
one.
Twitter. All links down below in the description of both the podcast and the video on YouTube. And
The
yeah,
crazy thing with Discord, man, like, Discord is actually lit. I've had this
yeah,
Discord server for 2 years now. I was never like, I have it because as a streamer you usually have it, but I was never a big fan of like having my own server, and it was never very active. It's like, cool, you have some pictures and stuff like that. It's cool,
yeah,
people can always find me there. I have it on my phone, dude. Since we started playing Star Citizen, there's actually so many people talking in Star Citizen screenshots and helping each other, and like, there's pin messages for new players, and yeah, I'm actually mind blown with that. So yeah,
yeah,
there's probably a link to that somewhere under.
yeah.
Yeah.
Links
Feel
are all
free to
down in
join.
the description. Podcast is available on podbean.com, or you can check it out on various other podcast sources such as iTunes and other podcasty
Yeah,
places.
there's links. Like,
There's a
if this
lot.
format,
Yeah.
whatever you are listening or watching on right now, and it's not perfect for you, check out the links. There's more solutions for that. We're not charging it anyway, right? Like, everything is free, right?
Everything's free.
Yeah, and oh crap! That I wanted to say something else, and I just I just forgot.
We're going to say bye because we need to wrap it up.
No, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna
All
say. And
right.
then the moment we end, I'm gonna be. Oh no, this is what it is.
And we'll write it down for episode 5.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
All
Well,
right.
thank you,
Thanks
Chegg,
for
and
listening.
thanks everyone
Thanks.
for tuning in. Bye bye.
Bye bye.